Hello boys and girls, this is Mr. So. Welcome back for another lesson of biology. Today we are going through lesson 33 of chapter 15, Structure of Eye, part 2. Before you start watching the video, remember to like and subscribe my channel and also share the video to your classmates. Let's start. In the last video, we have gone through about the outer layer and the middle layer of the eyeball, and now in this lesson, the eye structure part 2, we are going into the inner layer. In the inner layer, we have the retina, 視網膜. It contains many photoreceptors, or some people call them the light sensitive cells. There are two types of photoreceptors. The rod cells, they are responsible for black and white vision, while for the cone cells, they are for colored vision. Have you ever heard of the disease called the retinal detachment, 視網膜脫落? Retinal detachment is the problem when your retinal layer detach and get away from the choroid layer, the middle layer. And this is not good because if your retina is going away from the choroid layer, it will not have the nutrient and oxygen supply from the choroid layer, from the blood vessels. And your retinal layer with the photoreceptors, they might die because of lack of nutrient and oxygen. This can be very horrible. So in order to prevent the problem caused by the retinal detachment, 視網膜脫落, what we can do is we can use laser beam 激光啦，我喺鐳射, alright, to put the retina back in place, stick it back to the choroid layer, so it helps to restore your vision. At the back side, the center of the retina, we have a spot. We call it spot yellow spot. It has a lot of cone cell concentrated on this yellow spot for color vision detection. Speaking of yellow spot, have you ever heard the disease called macular degeneration, in Chinese 黃斑病變? As we know, yellow spot 黃斑, it is concentrated with cone cells for color vision detection. This is what a normal healthy person feels like when he has a normal vision. However, if you have macular degeneration, your visions become very blurred, especially at the center part of your vision. And this is because something is going wrong in your yellow spot. Maybe the cone cells in your yellow spot become very old and then they degenerate, 退化啦. So this is happening in the very old-aged people, 老年人會有啦. Or maybe if there is some growing out of new suddenly formed blood vessels on top of the yellow spot, these newly formed blood vessels will cover the cone cells and block them from getting the light, from detecting the color visions. So this might lead to blurred centered vision as macular degeneration, 黃斑病變. If you do an eye examination, you will see the yellow spot on the left-hand side of this picture. It is concentrated with cone cells, the photoreceptors which are responsible for color vision detection. At the back of your eyeball, you have the optic nerve, 視覺神經. It carries the nerve impulse to your brain. At the point where the optic nerve leaves the eyeball, this is what we call the blind spot, 盲點. You can only find blood vessels and optic nerves or nerve fibers in the blind spot, but no photoreceptor over the blind spot. Look into the eye again. On the right hand side, you can see the blind spot because it is the exit site where you can find a lot of blood vessels and nerve fibers. This is called the blind spot because on top of it, there is no photoreceptors to detect any light. The microscopic picture on the left shows you the different layers in the eyeball, from the outermost layer, sclera, to the middle layer, choroid, to the final innermost layer, retina. After knowing the function and structure of the three different layers, let's take a look at the structure which helps in focusing light into the eye. That includes the ciliary body. Ciliary body, it is actually a muscular ring, and it connects it to the lens. by the suspensory ligaments. The picture below shows you the position and location of the ciliary body. The ciliary body is located right behind the iris. The ciliary body itself is like a muscle ring, circular in shape. At the center, you can find the lens, which is transparent. And between the lens and the ciliary body, you can find the suspensory ligaments, which helps to connect the ciliary body and the lens. Ciliary body consists of ciliary muscles, and these ciliary muscles helps to contract and relax to change the thickness of the lens. Lens can be found at the center of the eye. It is transparent, no color, allow light to go through. It is also elastic and biconcave in shape, 雙邊凸. The function of the lens is to refract and focus light onto the retina, 折射同埋聚焦光. After knowing about the ciliary body, the suspensory ligaments, and the lens, let's take a look at Miss Chen's case. Let's see how serious her injury is. 更嚴重係晶狀體上面一半韌帶斷裂，晶狀體向下移位. So I think right now you can tell what is 晶狀體and 韌帶. 晶狀體is the lens, 韌帶 is the suspensory ligaments. So based on the case, on top of the lens, half of the suspensory ligaments, they are broken. And what happened is the lens it moved down. 跌咗落嚟。咁啊，好明顯係個 lens 個晶狀體條揈啦。Right now, if the lens is not securely attached to the ligaments, the ability to focus light into the eyeball, into the retina, will be affected. Speaking of lens, do you know any disease related to the lens? One of it is cataract, 白內障. Cataract is caused by the cloudy of lens, 混濁嘅晶狀體. In a healthy person, the lens should be transparent and very clear. But due to aging, 年老啦, the lens might have some changes. The transparent protein inside the lens, they may change and become cloudy and become white in color. This reduces the amount of light going into the eye, and this makes the vision dimmer, 暗啲. And sometimes the vision may become yellowish and brownish, 黃黃啡啡咁嘅. So this is what happens to the cataract patient. At the very last part of the eye structure, let's learn some fluid which you can find inside the eye. The first type of fluid, we call them the aqueous humor, which you can find them in the anterior chamber. That means the chamber at the front, in close contact with the cornea and the lens, this part. So the function of the aqueous humor is to supply nutrients and oxygens to the parts, which includes the conjunctiva, cornea, and the lens by diffusion method. Why should the aqueous humor use diffusion to supply oxygen and nutrients to the following structure? Because conjunctiva, cornea, and lens, they are colorless. They are not in close contact with blood vessels. Therefore, if they have to be transparent without any blood vessels, without any color, they have to obtain their nutrient and oxygen from the colorless fluid. That is the aqueous humor by diffusion. Not only can the aqueous humor provide nutrient and oxygen, it also maintains the shape of the eyeball. It maintains the shape of the anterior chamber, the chamber at the front. And this aqueous humor is also colorless. It helps to reflect light onto the retina, 折射光. On the back side of the eye, that is the posterior chamber, which is the very big part behind the lens. This part consists of the vitreous humor. This vitreous humor, it also helps to maintain the shape of the eye, and it also helps to refract the light onto the retina. But unlike the aqueous humor, vitreous humor is more like jelly, while for aqueous humor, they are more like liquids. That's it for all the structure and functions inside the eye. Now can you answer the question for me? Name the structures with refractive power. That means they are able to do refraction, they say. It should be the structure which are totally transparent, no color. Give you 5 seconds to think. There should be 5 answers. They should be from the outermost layer to the innermost layer, the conjunctiva, the cornea, aqueous humor, the lens, and also the vitreous humor. So you can think about how the light goes into the eye. The structure that the light passes through should be all transparent and with refractive power. At the very end, let's go back to the case of Miss Chen. Let's take a look at Miss Chen's case. 眼球玻璃體擠咗一啲出嚟. So what is 眼球玻璃體? It should be the vitreous humor, which is the jelly-like substance in the posterior chamber of the eye. If you really want to know what can you find inside an eye, what is the internal structure, how are the jelly-like substances vitreous humor looks like, you can try to look at a video of an ox eye dissection, 通牛眼. After knowing all the structure of the eye, please go to page 10 of your textbook, finish MCQ question 2. That's it for the lesson of eye structure part 2. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.